So these last couple of episodes of Vanderpump Rules have been somewhat chaotic. I don't know about you. I just feel like every time I'm trying to take notes and follow what's happening, I'm just like, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. This one's saying this one's fighting against this one. And I don't know if it's chaotic in a good way. But we have to talk about the speculation that people are saying that this might be a forced storyline or something happened that the producers were like, no, we need to bring this out now, and we're planning to bring this out. We have to talk about that. Do I believe that Tom Sandoval is trash and did cheat on Ariana? Yes. But the way that this has been elevated is a whole other thing. And we have to talk about, by the time this video comes out, I'm sure the Vanderpump Rules reunion trailer will be out. So we'll talk about that next week. But we can already expect, there's already been so much information that has been leaked in regards to this reunion and what's been leading up to this and what's been happening offline. Let's get into all that, but per usual, as we get into this countdown, let me know where you're watching from. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. It is the subscribers only live chat. You know what? Matter of fact, we won't make it a subscribers only live chat. Everybody's welcome here to share their opinions on the latest season of Vanderpump Rules.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow me, lead it. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back, guys, to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is our weekly recap of Vanderpump Rules Season 10. This is usually where we catch up on any of the Vanderpump Rules news, on any spoilers, or the old episodes that I'm watching. This particular recap will really just be about Season 10 and just what we can expect for the Vanderpump Rules reunion, because you probably by now have seen some of the photos from the reunion, and it's very clear that James Kennedy and Lala are acting their butts off for this reunion, and Ariana's just sitting there pretty. Ariana does confront, of course, Tom Sandoval during this reunion, but we will get to the reunion not next week, the following week, because next week is the season finale. So Sheena Shea did an interview with our friends over at TV Deets and revealed that this latest episode, this episode that we watched this week, really was supposed to be the finale. And when you watch it, you kind of like, oh, that makes complete sense. It felt like it was the finale. But we all know the cameras went right back up once this whole scandal was exposed. So at the top of this episode, this is what, episode 14? So at the top of this episode, Katie and Ariana are preparing for the soft launch of their, just a sort of like a taste of the sandwiches looked good. I don't know if they tasted good, but based on what everyone was saying, it tasted good. I like their presentation. This little shop is really cute, and it's meant to be cute. You know, sometimes when you say something is cute, some people be like, that's sort of an insult when you're describing my thing as cute. No, it's meant to be like this cute little sandwich shop, and they have less overhead and less headaches to deal with than Schwartz and Sandy are dealing with right now. And Katie even says that she's just like, unlike the Toms, we are willing to listen to professionals. And I think they're going to have a successful business. And honestly, based off of what's happened with the Scandival situation, it's probably better that it worked out this way, because I think Ariana would have had a difficult time trying to navigate her friendship with Raquel and her business relationship with Katie, because it gets ugly by the end of this episode of Vanderpump Rules between Katie and Rachel. And Rachel really, and I told you, remember I called it. I said Rachel gives me sociopath vibes, and I'm not saying that as a medical professional. I'm just saying there's something about her behavior that's not normal, and it's beyond just being vindictive or a mean girl, or no, it's another level. I'm not saying that's who she is and that's what it is, but that's just the vibe I've gotten from Rachel over the last few weeks watching this whole situation play out. So Katie and Ariana are, prepping for this whole situation, and the conversation that happened last week between Ariana and Lala comes up, and Ariana, I'm really starting to see that she's probably really stayed in this relationship, and I said this last week, stayed in this relationship because it was great for their brand. It brought in a lot of money for them, probably more than any of the other people on the show, because like I said before, you look at how they were living versus how some of the other folks are living, you're like, something's not adding up. Something's not adding up. And look, we know she's not the first person, they're not the first couple to stay in a relationship past its expiration date. But it seemed as if Ariana is giving us context clues as to how she's conducted this relationship over the years. And this is stemming all the way back to Miami Girl. Remember how she was just like, I don't want to talk about our relationship to this group. She doesn't want them, quote, undermining her relationship. And she literally says that in this episode because Lala's just like, why would Sandoval, after you just told him that your grandmother died, stay here an extra 2 hours instead of rushing to your side? And she's made excuses after excuses for him. And look, maybe because they've been together for so long, she's sort of just gotten into this rut. But also, we find out in this episode, and you guys have told me over the years, she's expressed her insecurities about her body and things that she's been through, and because of relationships that she's had in the past. And again, Ariana, I implore you, instead of getting under the next man, get into a therapist's office, because whatever issues you had with Sandoval, he's trash, but there's a reason why you decided to stay with trash. Because when people show you who they are the first time, and I do believe this was not the first time that Tom Sandoval has showed you who he really is. And it could have stemmed back all the way to Miami Girl. Anyways, because I don't want to delve or spend too long on certain scenes that just aren't necessary, like Raquel going shopping. Okay, and she's talking about James and Allie, and she feels like James is more into Allie than Allie's into him. I can see that. But I also get the vibe that Allie is sort of like his porcelain doll that he puts on a pedestal, and I don't want to call her a rebound, but on some level, it feels like she is the rebound because he is still pressed over his relationship ending with Raquel. And I'm basing that off of just his behavior this season. I'm not even up to the seasons of him and Rachel being together. Moving on, because I just don't feel like that was a necessary scene to unpack even further. So the Toms discussed their continued business struggles. They're so happy they finally got a piece of furniture in there, but they're still have not opened because they still need to figure out their kitchen situation, which is critical for a restaurant. I have to say, though, the aesthetic of Schwartz and Sandy, based on what we've seen on television, what you see on television versus what you see in real life are two different things. But based on what we see on television, I'm just like, it's not my personal style. But for me, I'm like, oh, it works. It works. But what it looks like versus the food quality versus the service quality are two different things. And I've said this before about the Tom's business acumen. They do not seem that smart. We already know Schwartz is a little shaky, but their business sense doesn't seem on par. And you see this over the years, and you would think that after almost 10 years of working in the restaurant industry, of working so closely with Lisa Vanderpump. And I think even outside of the show, Lisa Vanderpump would be mentors to them and really would want for them to learn something. And they haven't. They want to be the face of everything. Your face ain't that cute. And it's not even about being cute. Your face and name is not that influential to be the face of anything. Okay, well, I shouldn't say that. You could be the face of something. Just nothing that's going to be $1,000,000. Anyways, so they talk about those struggles, and then Sandoval talks about he's setting us up because I'm sure he's already plotting and planning in his head that they're going to break up after the season or at the reunion. Who knows? So he's setting us up, and he's talking about, I just feel like every time she's just coming at me, and I think she just doesn't like me. I think she just thinks I'm an idiot. And every time he says that stuff, I'm looking at him like, I mean, I can see why she might not like you. I can see why she might think you're an idiot. Anyone else? She's always coming at me. I feel like she doesn't respect me. She probably doesn't. Even though she will say, because they have a conversation in this episode where they talk about their issues and where they need to work out, those things. And I'm just like, Ariana, why did you stick in this relationship for so long? You seem so much smarter than Tom Sandoval. I don't see how you guys ever connected in any way. Maybe in the early years when you guys were both young, but even then you were a lot more mature than he was. And I'm looking, I was like, I'm at this point, Tom Sandoval is trash and we know he's trash. But now I'm looking at Ariana. I'm like, Ariana, why would you stay in a relationship with this man? What did you find redeeming in this man? Especially when he constantly is coming after women. Sorry, y'all, I'm going to keep my fourth wall in. I had to get me, some chips from room service. Anyway, it's my birthday. Come on now. Happy birthday to me. Yay. Okay. So I got a little room service before I go to Wicked. I'm going to go see Wicked tonight. Since I've been here, I went to see the Tina musical, which was really great. I'm going to see something that's considered sort of like off-Broadway over the weekend. So I'll talk more about my trip. I know I should really be vlogging and things like that, but guys, look, I'm creating content here. I'm trying to enjoy life. I'm trying to rest. I'm trying to see London. Vlogging, that's a whole other job. But anyways, I'm still trying to also make time to watch these episodes and at least put the recaps in so that I don't feel like when I get back next week that I'm like, oh my God, I have so much to catch up on. So that's also part of the reason why I'm putting out the content as the episodes air. Anyways, you don't care about that. You want to hear my thoughts on this episode. So I'm still looking at Ariana like I'm not mad at Ariana. Look, there are plenty of people that are in bad relationships that do not work out, and people stay in those relationships for an extended period of time. But it's just like, especially with him, because there's been smoke for a very long time. All right, so as Tom is talking about his issues with Ariana, Schwartz is chiming in, and Schwartz is in. I keep telling you guys this. It's not important to me whether or not Schwartz knew. It's Schwartz helping cover it up. That's the problem for me. And covering up on this television show and says, I kind of look at them and they're like, they just kind of like roommates, and I just feel like he's helping Tom Sandoval perpetuate this. Look, we do believe that their relationship was not great, but to join in this whole situation, and he says that he knew for a month. I don't believe that. Again, I don't want to take focus off of, at the end of the day, this falls on Tom Sandoval and Rachel. But based on what we're seeing on the show, it feels as if Schwartz is helping, trying to make Ariana look bad, but also cover up this affair. So that's the part where I'm like, really? Really, Schwartz? So he weighs in on his perception of their relationship during this episode. All right, moving on from there. So Tom and Ariana have their own conversation about their relationship and what he wants in the relationship versus what she wants. And he's like, why don't you hang out? I guess one of her good gay friends she always hangs out with and has conversations with. And she's like, well, all we do is watch, what was it, Love Island, and we binge watch these shows. You don't want to do that. He's like, well, maybe not do that, but I want to spend time and do this and do that. We don't even do what we used to do when we were together. And look, these are real issues, but it's just interesting that we're starting to see this sort of come up now, because it's more interesting because we know that he's already having the affair at this time. Because word on the street, remember the designer said that he saw Tom Sandoval kissing Rachel in Mexico. So Mexico and Sheena's wedding already happened. So as he's bringing up these issues and saying these things to her, that's something we have to keep in mind. He's already having an affair. So he's already checked out of the relationship. He's not trying to make this relationship better. He's not trying to make this relationship work. In my opinion. So, they have this conversation, and I have to say it's just disturbing to watch this conversation knowing what we know is what's going on, because it's just like, you're full of crap. You're full of crap. Do I think that Ariana has her own insecurities and issues, and do I think that she played a part in where this relationship was? Of course. We all play a part in a relationship, good or bad. However, it's all about how you end the relationship. It's all about how you decide, you know what? This is not working, before I end up going to cheat with your best friend. That's a whole other thing. I'm going to end this relationship. But I told you this before. He has a pattern. This is how he ended his relationship with Kristen Doughty. And the preview at the end of this episode of Kristen Doughty, y'all, keep her where you found her. To me, it's sort of like, what's the point of bringing Kristen Doughty back? What's the point? Oh, because she had a relationship with Tom years ago where they cheated on each other? We're good on Kristen Doughty. You can keep her with her problematic self over there. But it's already done. It's already filmed. It's going to be on the show. They've already had her on Watch What Happens Live. Who cares? But I just want to remind you guys, this woman is still weird. Still weird. Weird behavior. And it gets even weirder when she and Stassi are calling the police on a black woman. I'm not going to stop reminding y'all why she was fired. That wasn't too long ago. That all came out during the pandemic. The pandemic wasn't that long ago. And I'm not saying that people can't grow, evolve, and, be better. But based on what I've seen of Kristen Doughty from my watch of the old seasons, she's been problematic for a while. Outside of what she did to Faith. Okay? But anyways, we shall see what she decides to offer in the season finale. All right? Anyways. So one of the things that stood out, and why am I whispering? So one of the things that stood out to me in what Tom Sandoval was saying to Ariana about the things that he wants to do, like I wish we would kind of go skinny dipping and do. Mind you, these are things that he was doing with Rachel, and it's just like, oh, like these are things that you want to do, which is fine, but you're doing it with this woman that's best friends with your girlfriend. All right. Then we have this really sort of like nothing scene. It's not really a nothing scene. So James Kennedy, he's excited for, he's opening for Cascada. This is going to be his big opportunity. And it is. It is going to be a big opportunity for him. And like I said before, I wanted to know why his career hasn't really blown up as a DJ, and it might be. I'm not a part of that world where I'm like, oh well I guess I am a little bit a part of the world. Like, I'm fully versed on music. I don't see James Kennedy coming out with his own music, headlining his own shows, but maybe, look, he's still young. I'm not gonna hate on that. So he's talking with Allie about meeting LVP, and LVP is sort of like a mom to all of them, so he's a little nervous about her meeting LVP. And she also brings up that he's going to go to therapy. She's encouraging him to go to therapy, but he doesn't believe that he needs to go to therapy. But I think you might, because it sounds as if you're not over the Allie situation, not the Raquel situation, in my personal opinion. All right. Then we go to the Toms talking about Tom Schwartz's relationship with Katie, and I guess the blogs were talking about how he was making out with Rachel. and Katie was upset. I'm just surprised that Katie, and I get it, Katie would be upset because she had a long relationship with him. She's still married to him at this point. And I just wouldn't text Schwartz. I just be like, it is what it is. You're divorcing him. This is part of the reason why you're divorcing him. All of these stories, all of this behavior that he's showing is just a reminder why, yeah, he doesn't have my back. He never has my back. He doesn't respect me. I would never text him about that. I'm like, whatever. I've already texted you about this. I already told you how I feel. I would leave him alone. All right. So, the Tom Sandoval and Schwartz are talking about that, and Sandoval has his own thoughts and things. Oh yeah, and I think, what was it, Katie? I think Katie was on Watch What Happens Live, and she was talking about Raquel's behavior in Mexico was really her trying. She thinks, in her opinion, that Raquel was trying to make Sandoval jealous by hooking up with Schwartz. And again, guys, sidebar, because so many people are speculating, and I'm starting to believe this too, that this whole push, I believe the cheating is real, but this push by the network and everyone else for this to be bigger than life, and it really is working because it's reaping the rewards for the show. They're setting records for this season. It's helping Watch What Happens Live. Anytime they have a guest on there, they're getting a lot of viewers as well. Like, they've never seen these types of numbers, and they never will after this. And some of you already that were so invested in the situation are checking out. You're like, this is just done. Can we just get to the reunion?
I can't think of two worse people. I can't.
Let's interrupt this Vanderpump Rules recap to talk about the Vanderpump Rules reunion trailer that dropped. Oh, I had to include this. So for those of you that were paying attention, you watched the entire thing, and you've been looking for me to talk about the Vanderpump Rules reunion trailer, this is where we're doing it during this recap. So before I put out my recap, I wanted to talk about the Vanderpump Rules reunion for season 10 trailer. And to be honest with you, as we know, this whole Scandival situation played out after the cameras wrapped, but the cameras went back up so that we could capture what we're about to see next week on their real season finale. As I said in the recap, the season finale technically should have been last week's episode. However, everything next week will be all of Scandival and how this all played out. But let's talk about this trailer. First of all, shout out to Katie. Katie, when she says to Schwartz, "You are a serial killer's wet dream," I almost spit out my water. James Kennedy and Lala are going to definitely be showing out and showing up because they want to secure their spots for next season. But, I haven't been a fan of these two. However, I think they're going to make this reunion at least worth watching. And Raquel, Rachel, and Tom saying that they're trying to make us out to be like we're serial liars and things like that. Based on what we've seen and what's led up to where we are today and what we've been seeing and all the little breadcrumbs that have been around us, you are serial liars. Keep my fourth wall in. And Tom, you are a serial cheater. And I don't believe that Raquel was the first woman that you cheated on Ariana with. And it didn't end with Miami Girl. I don't believe that. There's no way that there is no one else in between Miami Girl and Rachel. I don't believe it. Anyone else? So in the trailer, we get to see this. We know it gets heated. We see a heated, almost physical fight between James Kennedy and Tom Sandoval. I don't know why it even gets to that point between these two, because it's not about y'all. Y'all didn't have any beef during the season. I don't understand, but I get it. They're trying to earn their keep on the show. All right. And I love the fact that Ariana was like,
Don't even look at me. You don't deserve to look at this.
And she looks good. And I'm glad that Ariana is securing all the opportunities that she's getting right now, because as I said before, no matter how you could be team Ariana, whatever it may be, However, I do believe that outside of this, Ariana's not that entertaining on the show. She could not carry Vanderpump Rules on its own. Let's be honest. Let's just say it. I like her. I think she's a decent human being. And I've said this about other people. They're just probably not necessarily good reality TV. But I like the fact that she's showing up during this reunion and she's going to give us what we need. She's calling Rachel subhuman. She really is, though. Based on what we saw on this week's episode, Rachel talking to Ariana, making it sort of like the foreshadowing. I believe there's a lot of manipulation between Tom Sandoval and what he was saying to Ariana and to the cameras and what Rachel was doing in that moment with Ariana. And you're supposed to be her friend. I'm not going to even say best friend. You are supposed to be her friend. And then Lala pointing out to Rachel, because Rachel wants to be like, well, you and James Kennedy did the same thing. You don't have no room to talk. Okay, that's not how she was speaking. She's like, you don't have any room to talk. And she was like, one of the key words, take a drink every time they say ho during this reunion. She was like, you weren't my best friend, ho. So I have to say, and shout out to the editors, I don't think the editors or producers get enough credit for making these trailers enticing. As I said to you before, I think the mid-season trailer, I didn't love the mid-season trailer for Vanderpump Rules. However, this reunion trailer, I think the reunion will be the best part of this season. And as I said to you before, without all the scandal situation, unfortunately, this would have been a lackluster season. It would have been a lackluster season. And I love how Lala pointed out to Sandoval and Schwartz, because Schwartz said, oh, you told me about this in August. And he was like, what? What? You guys didn't get your timelines together? And now there's rumors that this affair started during Coachella, even though that rumor has been going around, that this affair between these two had been going on since Coachella. So that would have been April of last year, not August. It's just disgusting. Like, cheating cheating is bad in general, but how some people cheat to the levels. Remember, Kristen Doughty literally slept with Jax while the other one was in the bedroom. Reports that Rachel, like, it's just ugh. Like, come on. Like, if you ever loved Ariana, couldn't you find some sort of respect for her and not do this and keep this going on for months and months? Look, I could understand a one night stand, something happened, but you played this out for about to say years, for who knows, but for months. And then you try to set it up on camera to make it seem like, oh yeah, our relationship is not going well. It's never been going well. And I believe that it was, but the way that it's handled is so immature for a man that's over 40 years old. But we already know age doesn't mean maturity. I am all in for this reunion. I can't wait. And guys, word on the street is Peacock is going to be releasing unseen footage of the reunion on the streaming app. We might have to institute our watch parties again just to talk about Vanderpump Rules. Because I'm in. Guys, I want to know your thoughts. We're going to get back to our recap, but I want to know your thoughts about the Vanderpump Rules Season 10 reunion trailer. How would you rate it from 1 to 10? Live chat, let me know. Replay crew, let me know as well. Sidebar, those of you that are watching, how are you feeling currently about this? We're almost done, though. We're almost done. I'm in. I haven't recapped Vanderpump Rules. This is our first season doing it. No promises we will do next season. It depends on what's happening. But I have to say, we've been fully engaged. I have to say the early seasons are good. So I'm not going to take that away from Vanderpump Rules. The early seasons are good. I don't know where it's going to dip for me. I will let you know. I was hoping that I'd be fully caught up by the end of this season, but I'm not. It's okay. It's all right. But I don't feel like I'm lost based on what we've seen and known, to be honest. I don't feel like, between the cliff notes, between watching the older seasons, I feel like I'm in a good spot. Oh my goodness. So they do a soft launch for Something About Her, for the restaurant that Ariana and Katie have. LVP attends, of course. She's right down the block, and she's, of course, mentoring the ladies. And she talks with James Kennedy and Allie, and she's talking about James Kennedy and how he is, and he needs someone that's going to push him. I think this is her first time meeting Allie, so she's like, she's trying to be like, you're going to have to push him. You're going to have to. No, at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's up to your partner to push you, unless that's what you want them to do. I don't think that Allie is. I love how they're trying to make it seem like Allie really is like this, like she moves. No, I think right now James is on his good behavior because it's a new relationship. But we'll see how this relationship plays out next season. I don't think Allie is really the one calling the shots in this relationship, to be honest, in my personal opinion. Well, they had the soft launch. You know, everyone comes, including Schwartz, even though he wasn't personally invited by Katie. And Katie's mom is there as well. Katie's mom is going to be working at the sandwich shop as well. They try the sandwiches. The sandwiches look, I like the presentation. It looks like it's good. I don't know. I think it's a cute idea. I think it's great that at this point, because so many of these people have been on the show for so long and they don't have anything to say for it. This is smart. This is smart. And we shall see how this will play out for next season and how their business is doing. Is it open? I think I asked this last week. Is it open yet? Something about her? I felt like you guys would have told me if it was open. Anyways. So let's get to the juicy part of this episode, and that is towards the end. So the festivities for the celebration of Something About Her moves over to Sir, where we try more sandwiches, and everyone seems to be enjoying the sandwiches. Who cares about it? I'm sorry. Not who cares, but I know what you're here for. Let's talk about what goes down between Katie and Raquel, and Raquel's conversation with Ariana, and then then Tom Sandoval and his comments and jumping. Let's first talk about this weird and awkward conversation that happens between Rachel and Ariana. Because, knowing what we know, it's very clear that she's picking for information. She's trying to get to some of her own sinister understanding of what's happening between Tom Sandoval and Ariana. I wouldn't be surprised if she was trying to pick from Ariana just to see if what Tom Sandoval is saying to her might be true. Because we also have to think about that dynamic. She might be thinking like, oh, he's telling me that he really loves me and I'm really the one for him. And, Ariana doesn't want to have sex anymore and blah, blah, blah. So Ariana is opening up to her, who she thinks is her best friend, about what's going on in her relationship. And I found it interesting, some of the things that Rachel was asking Ariana. She's like, well, you have to have, sex is important. And it was, when you look, and again, I go back to what I said at the top of this, some of the things that Rachel has said and done throughout this whole situation, trying to play this very innocent, Bambi-eyed act, when she is probably one of the most calculated and diabolical characters on the show. And that's saying a lot, especially when we have years of Jax. And he's still trash, but... So she's asking Ariana these interesting questions about the relationship and what's going on in their relationship. And I thought it was interesting because they went from talking about a whole other topic to Raquel bringing up, so how is everything good with you and Sandoval? Unless it's editing. Again, we're watching an edited show. But it seems so like out of left field, like we were just talking about this and now you're asking me about my relationship. That's weird. That's suspicious. So they of course, Ariana then starts dogging on her body and all her insecurities, and Rachel acts really like, oh, don't say that about yourself. We're probably, I say those things about myself. We're probably like the most beautiful girls, and we say these things about ourselves. I encourage Ariana to feel good about herself. Rachel, save me on that. Save me on your fake sympathy for your best friend. So Ariana is coming down on herself, and I feel, look, at the end of the day, no matter how many times we can tell Ariana how beautiful and smart and down to earth she is, she's not going to believe it unless she sees it for herself. And she's able to believe that for herself. I think she's beautiful. I think she's probably the most likable person on this show, both physically and internally. So that's just my personal opinion. All right. So it goes from a conversation with them to Rachel trying to have a conversation with Katie. As you know, they've had a tough season, rightfully so, because Rachel has no boundaries. And Katie is just sitting here listening to Rachel, and Rachel just has no sympathy because she wants to defend Schwartz, and you're rage texting him and blah, blah. And I don't blame Katie for like, why are you over here? Why are you trying to have a conversation with me? Like she's trying to have a moment. Like she's literally trying to have a moment. And I don't blame Katie for like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be friends with you. Why are you trying to even have a conversation with me about my marriage? You're not even with Schwartz. And based on what we know now, this is even more weird that you're coming at me trying to defend Schwartz. It doesn't end there though, because then Raquel is rude to Terry, Katie's mom. So Terry chimes in and she's like, I don't understand why, and none of us understand Terry, why after you opened up to her when everyone was in Vegas and you said to her, well, this hurts Katie because Katie, is still dealing with the aftermath of her marriage. Like that alone would be like, okay, I understand, Katie. I'm so sorry. I had a lapse in judgment. But we already know with Rachel, she has no judgment based on what we're seeing. And she literally, as Terry's trying to speak, Rachel is like, oh my God. And I do not, and look, I'm not, see you next Tuesday is not in my vocabulary, but I felt it when Katie said it because that's her mom and she's close with her mom. And if anyone comes for your mom, what you gonna do? Some of you would physically fight somebody. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I kind of felt it's like, she's like, you're not gonna come here, first of all, trying to kiss up on my still husband at the time, and now you're trying to disrespect my mom. I thought Katie might hit her. I thought there might be a Stassi moment. I was just like, but no, she hit her with the you see you next Tuesday. So it goes from there to Sandoval jumping into the conversation. And of course, anytime Sandoval jumps into the conversation, it upsets Ariana. Ariana's upset. She's just like, well, she's more upset about what's going on between Rachel and Katie because she's friends with both of them. Little does she know, you're not going to be friends with this other one in a week or so. So she's upset, and LVP is, first of all, it's LVP's birthday. When is LVP's birthday? I mean, it's just funny that it's airing around my birthday. Just saying. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Anyways, thank you all for the birthday wishes. I appreciate them. And LVP is trying to comfort Ariana as everyone's fighting. Tom Sandoval is getting involved in the women's business. He just always finds it necessary to come at Katie. He always finds it necessary to jump in and defend Rachel. You need to make this a little bit less obvious, sir. In my personal opinion. So we have all of those moments. And then at one point, Katie then confronts Schwartz outside as she's still fighting with Rachel and all these other situations. That's why I say it's like chaotic towards the end. It was chaotic towards the end. And Schwartz is there like, I thought I did what. Look, I don't think this is an act for Schwartz. Do I think that Schwartz only finds the courage to fight with women? Yes. But I also don't think that this is an act that Schwartz is less than smart. I don't think that's an act. He would be a tremendous actor if he's been playing the same role for the last 10 years. Like, this is just who he is. He is not matured. If anything, he's gotten worse. And I think he's going to be one of those old men very much like he is today, if not worse. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's single for the rest of his life. I'm actually surprised. I'm also looking at Katie like, what did you ever see in this man? Were you that desperate to get married? And some people are. Some people are like, that's what the bigger thing. Like, I want to get married. We've been together. We might as well get married. Even though the clear core values of him defending you, having your back, were never there. Even before. Now I understand what you guys are saying. They should have never gotten married. But here we are. I could also see how this relationship could work. But there would be some just certain things that would have to happen. Like, defend your wife, be there for your wife, be emotionally supportive for your wife, grow up a little bit. But that could be also something else going on there with Schwartz. Very much what might be going on with Rachel. So we have a lot of back and forth. Ariana is upset. That shifts very quickly because Lisa Vanderpump is surprised with the birthday cake, and she makes this speech. At one point, she's like, "Where's Schwartz? Where's Schwartz?" And Katie's like, "Why do you need Schwartz here? I'm here." Okay, Katie, calm down. You're not Schwartz. But I think we're all planning this to be the season finale, so she wanted everyone there, and he was, "Schwartz, where's Schwartz?" So he wasn't there. And he comes in towards the end of her speech. And again, as you're watching this, you're like, oh, this really does feel like this was going to be the season finale. No, we get to see the preview for the season finale, which is next week when all of the Scandal situation plays out. We see Ariana and Tom arguing. We see Rachel and Tom like canoodling. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. She's the worst. Look, he's the worst. And of course, everyone's going to be chiming in. I don't know. I think the hardest part about this whole Scandal situation is that no one here besides Ariana, you're like, at least this person could defend Ariana in this moment. We're looking at James Kennedy and Lala try to defend when you are just as bad. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, well, no, they didn't do it with the best friend. They are just as bad, and they are clout chasing, or as, what did this English tour guide tell me today? Barnacling. I want to make that trend again. Let's get rid of clout chasing. Barnacling, like sucking. Barnacling. You know what I mean? There's a lot of really great English, British terms. I wish I could remember all of them. I love it. It's just like it really is like a whole other language, a whole other version of English that I love. I love it. I'm learning all kinds of new things. Anyways, guys, are you excited for this episode? How would you rate this episode? I probably rate this episode. I do feel like it, as we're getting towards the end, it's just getting a little bit better, but I'm glad that it's almost over. I thought this was a solid 8 for me because it was all over the place. I'm wondering if we did not have Scandal, what would we have? Like, if this was the season finale, how would you feel about the season overall? If this was the season finale. I want to know. Don't think about what's to come or what you already know. How would you rate the season as a whole based on what we've gotten so far this season? In comparison to last season, because a lot of you they need to cancel it. A lot of you were saying cancel Vanderpump Rules last season. This season, it got a little bit better, but again, the focus really was not really on Scandal. It was on Katie's relationship with Schwartz and what's been going on there. I forgot to mention Lala talking about she wants to have a baby on her own. I mean, to each their own, but Lala, I don't know. Your body. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want. Her reasoning, though, is like, all right. Okay. I can't with Lala. Send it to Daryl, Lala. Send it to Daryl, please. Sheena wasn't there. I didn't miss her. We got that little FaceTime with her. She had tested positive for the thing. So she wasn't there. Didn't miss her. Another barnacle. Guys, I can't wait to tell you more about my trip on the podcast because there's just so many little things from the television, from just observing people and meeting people. And for those that don't know, on Saturday afternoon, I will be hosting a meetup. I haven't decided where yet just because there's so many different options and I want to choose the right option. And then there's the weird weather here in London. You never know when it's going to rain, even if the forecast doesn't say it's going to rain. So I do want to plan something for our Londoners. So if you are someone that's here, or maybe you're just here visiting too, and you're here in London and you want to meet up and just have a little, quick conversation and pictures and everything. It's very casual, very last minute. Wasn't planning to do any of that. And I know some of you have been saying, oh, Kempire, I wish I was there. I want to do it. Of course, guys, we are going to try and roll out and do actual official meetups and things like that when I'm in your city. So, but all of that takes a lot of planning. All of that takes the proper team. Soon. Maybe this will be the kickoff of my world tour. Guys, as always, shout out to our Team Kempire members, our Royal Court members, our senior royals. To become a member, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. For everything Kempire, head on over to TheKempire.com for our podcast, for our merchandise. And of course, we could not do this without the King's Guards. And I already know, you guys, thank you so much for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate them. I'm just grateful to be alive, happy, healthy, and here to see another year. Anyways, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to support our sponsor this month, which is roseforever.com. Don't forget to use discount code KEMPIRE25 for $25 off of your roses that will last you up to a year. Mother's Day is on Sunday. You still have some time. Go get your roses. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Let's get out of here, y'all.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll ask you. Follow my lead, just watch the shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.